I was talking about um, the time that I was taken to jail for rollerblading without a rear view mirror, and I have a criminal record that says I'm wearing spandex, and I have not forgotten the officers. So I was stamped on me that I'm a criminal, uh, that my rollerblades did not have a rear view mirror, but you know as well as I do, there are a pair of rollerblades that do. Okay. And also a criminal record that says I'm wearing spandex. The fact of the matter is, I was wearing a huge t-shirt over modest length bicycle shorts that came nearly to my kneecaps. It's interesting the officers would have to look so hard to see the spandex over my huge shirt, okay? But I was taken to jail, and I was not given own recognizance, meaning they would not let me go unless I bailed myself out. And it cost $500 at the time. And what else? They don't let you out over the weekend. So it's either bail myself out because it's Friday, or I get to spend several days in jail at the very least and then bail myself out. I was saying that, so what got me onto this conversation is I'm talking about the last couple of things I need to do to get the website up. Tomorrow I have appointments all day, including one for the chiropractor. I'm not in pain, but my torso is twisted, and it probably should be in this sense because I've been asymmetrical in a cast, on a knee rover, hopping, and now walking with one leg has a partial limp. So it's not surprising that I'm twisted and asymmetrical. And again, I'm not in pain, but I'm starting to go back to the gym, and it seems sound to me to try and prevaricate for good alignment. So I was talking about the couple of things that I need to do for the website. The website won't go up in January. It may go up very, very soon, but it's not going up tomorrow, especially with my work schedule. But so I was talking about I still need to get my performance art up. So I was a pioneer in 2D performance art. I did do 3D, but I started with 2D. And part of that 2D was a performance art catalog, and in that I readdress the court, and I do it outside the court, and this is how I did it. Officer Cardella, so I'm not forgotten. They stamped on me I was a criminal. That my rollerblades did not have a rear view mirror, and that gave the officer the license to haul my ass to jail. And then stamp on me a criminal record that says I'm wearing spandex. You really had to look for under my huge t-shirt, okay? Nobody would take my case. Lawyers wouldn't because they laughed, all right? And I don't think it's funny, and I still don't think it's funny. For this reason, I was actually training for the Olympic trials, self-funded. What does that tell me? Okay, put yourself out there. Why? So someone like a officer can take a bigger swipe at me for no reason, thief-end? Why would I want to put my best out there for you? Okay, you would applaud for me as if you had something to do with my talent and my motivation and my desire for being constantly present. Ah. Tomorrow's gonna be a busy day, which is fine. um, in terms of bringing in a little bit of money, so I'm not stressing out. um, yes, so I got stamped on me by the law -t, and I went and stamped back Officer Cardella in my 2D performance art catalog, which I then, when it was all said and done, I went and hand delivered it back to the police department and the courthouse, and I sent it around 2 cities and then beyond. Okay, I mailed it. And then I listed everyone that I mailed it to in the chapter called Self-Actualization, because I knew the officers were not going to let me be self-actualized on my own. So I'm like, good. Then you can look at this stain that I'm stamping on you, and you could do it with everyone else then, okay? I'll play your fucking game. If I were flailing on my rollerblades going down a street connecting 2 cities, Reno, Nevada to Sparks, Nevada, where I worked, where I was plucked off the street and taken to jail. So I didn't get to work. And I was taking graphic art, so I also rode my bike to Truckee early in the morning and back, okay? So it fucked up my training, it fucked up my schooling that I was providing for. I was not asking for sponsorship to train, but it was a very delicate balance, okay, to know where to put expenditure and where not. I was living very lean in order to totally fund my own dream. And that imbalance not only knocked my motivation back, but my finances, and you know, I stopped going to class. And I couldn't find a reason to train, to put my best in front of you. They would clap for me as if you had something to do with my value. Certainly not putting it out there for that. Ever. Okay? So when we're talking about motivation and who shows up to present their wares, you pick the format. Just understand that there's some people that won't show up there, okay? They deserve better. I did a 2D performance art. I saw what the court did to me, and I stamped back. Officer Cardella, then, in my 2D performance art catalog, was the egregious ball-bearing eunuch. So anytime I used Officer Cardella's name, I stamped with it egregious ball-bearing eunuch. And then there was the Sparks judge, Larry Sage. Larry Sage was Larry fucking Sage. And every time I used the judge's name, Larry, it came with fucking Sage, okay? And yes, it was noticed, okay? So I hand delivered this to the police department, to the courthouse, who was testing for metal detectors with my stack of paperwork, and I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna see this coming. Have some. Because when I'm done with you, I'm taking it here, and I'm taking it here, and I'm taking it here. And your neighbors are going to know about this. Your business people are going to know about this, okay? So it caused a little sting also. I was working in Sparks in an industrial warehouse area. And so it was front of the building. I was eating my yogurt in the glass door, and I saw a cop car come by really slow. It came by, then you can turn to go on the street, or you could turn to go in the back of this string of buildings where usually the people that are renting space, they'd be back there with parking cars. So he was going back, and I'm like, I didn't even think. I ran to the back of the building, propped open the door, and started eating my yogurt the same way I was in the front. That cop car then pulled straight up. Could see him. He didn't turn around. He took his rear view mirror from inside so he can see the back door. He was casing the joint. And I was sitting there like this, and I waved. And he's like, took off. I'm like, good. Okay, I'm on to you. You're trying to set me up like I'm the wench? I'm the wrench, okay? You're not going to get your just desserts here. Make another fucking malfeasant mark on me. You're not going to get your just desserts here, okay? So, let's see. Yes, I did turn my 2D performance art into 3D occasionally. I won't talk about it except that Scott Beers at Bruca Theater clunked me on the head, okay? That's all I need to say about me speaking my mind. Even silently, he thought it was his right to clunk me on the head. Okay? He's an actor that has a theater company, Bruca, B-R-U-K-A. I was told that it was a amalgam of a German word for bridge. So what? Should I say anything more about that? Besides that, I was not a theater person, and I did your costumes, and then I designed my own theater show, and it made more money than you, a seasoned actor and a theater person, ever made with one of your shows, okay? So my theater show that I came up with, having no history in theater, grossed more money than any seasoned actor or person at that theater, okay? That happened, and I got clunked on the head. And then they tried to knock off what I just did, okay? Whatever. Let's see. So I still need to get my 2D performance art up. So it started with 2D. I did the 2D performance art catalog, which was strictly black and white words. Nothing fancy, no fancy paradigm of language, of fork tongue language, okay? That KT, fork tongue. No fork tongue language designed at that time, just indelible critical thinking and an arrangement of I understand why you're doing what you're doing and why you think you could get away with it, and that certainly you're not going to allow me to be self-actualized on my own. So we're going to have it your weight. Okay? Not a fucking problem. And why am I doing this? Because I'm going to use you as my mark, and you're going to send a mark to everyone else not to do what you just did. So what I got from that immediately after that was people were asking me for basically my autograph. You know, I had to meet my dad at a place that fixed the VW Beetle, the Volkswagen. So I had to meet my dad, and they wanted my signature. You really didn't need a signature, but I'm like, everyone really wants my signature. And there was this sort of, grapevine effect of who is that? That was part of the success of my 3D performance art at Bruca Theater with no theater experience, because I did marketing for it with 2D art. And how I did it is I did a postcard. I had bleach blonde hair at the time, and I was wearing a very thick dog choke chain and collar everywhere I went. And I did art with that. People recognized me around town. Big, blonde, long hair, choke chain, and dog collar. And on the front, it's, I made my dress, and it's kind of low, and I pushed my tits together so I have cleavage, and pink lipstick, mouth open, wild and free. That was the tagline. And then you turn it over, and it says, AKA a dog for the handicapped. And I knew I was setting up stupid, okay, to squawk. And then everyone around stupid could be like, there's no going back on that, okay, So I was not working the door that night of my theater show, but I was told that it happened a lot. A lot of people are like, I want to meet this person, because I set them up, and I also brought in a different clientele. I brought in people that would not spend $10 on a theater show. I brought in hicks and rednecks. Okay, I'm not saying exclusively, but I'm saying at the very least, the theater got people they never gotten there before, and they wanted to meet me because I set them up. What else? I moved not too long after the 2D performance art catalog because there was no reward in knowing. There was no reward in knowing the people around me, okay? So if I moved to a different place and started over, I at least can fool myself with a clean palette and a clean canvas. The first place I landed was Kingfield, close to Carrabassett Valley, and they thought I was FBI or CIA because I was a single female. And they're also paranoid up there because they grow a lot of pot. I mean, a lot. I mean, see that window back there? You could have a sheet of it, okay, in your house. If it's not in your house, walk out in the wilderness where there's a lot, and you're going to see people growing it, okay? A lot. In their basements? Yeah. Let me put it this way. When I was in Carrabassett, there's a ski area, Sugarloaf. You've got Seth Westcott, the skier. I rode up with Seth Westcott on the lift. He's toking, okay? It's probably part of his success formula. What else? These people all have homes that they're from being successful with weed. What else? Yeah, I thought it was FBI or CIA because I was on my own, and I never did weed. Okay, I never tried weed until I moved to Maine. And when I moved to Maine, I thought it was the Maine's national pastime. I thought, wow, there's not a person here that doesn't do it, okay? Kiribati is unique. It's a ski area, so you're looking at people that go there to have a good time. So you can smoke your weed in public, just don't, was told to me by a police officer, just don't blow it in the police officer's face. You could also go to, let's see, is it Rangeley, Eustis? We would go for, what is that? Carrie, jukebox, you know, you sing to a, what is that? Fuck. Anyway, I can't remember it right now. But I do remember there was a police officer who was, it sure seemed like he was drunk and inebriated, singing Diana Ross or Diana Summer? Diana Ross. I left my cake out in the rain. It was falsetto and everything. There were some interesting sights there, for sure. And it's not, look, they want you to go there and have a good time, and you're living a little bit on the edge. Edge in the sense of, your police officers there aren't there to hamper your good time. Although when I was at the recreational center, before you go up, I believe it's Tote Road, that you go up to the mountain, they've got Kiribati Academy there, where young people learn how to ski, and then they've got a rec center next to it. In the rec center, they've got climbing wall, they've got, I think they had a little indoor track. They've got a weight room that overlooks that, and then they've got bowls for skateboarding, and then they have trampoline with wide net mesh, meaning the mesh was really big, so when you bounced on it, you got more air, and that was for, at the very least, for the ski kids. They would put a harness on them, and someone would have a rope so they can get air and practice flipping. And a bus had came in and then turned sideways, so I couldn't see if they had a taillight on or not saying don't pass, because they were parked this way and I'm coming towards them. Well, the driver called the police on me, and the police came in, and I'm working out, you know, ready to lay some shit on me because I didn't stop. And I'm like, if you want me to stop, make sure I can see your butt of your car, okay? Or your bus, all right? You take that back to your bus driver. Penalizing me, you didn't see my intention? No, I didn't. Okay? Why don't you think 360 and send a fucking message 360, okay? Rather than penalizing me. Well, I meant her to see. No, if you meant me to see, park your bus with the taillights so they can be seen with incoming traffic, okay? You know. Anyway, little things that I remember, kind of like, that make me gripe right back. Rest in peace. What else? Anyway, I've got a few things to do yet, but I'm getting close to getting this website up. I took out plenty of time when I was taken to jail for rollerblading without a rear view mirror, and I got a criminal record that says I was wearing spandex. Is that really criminal? Is it criminal that the place where I live, Avesta Housing, took me to court for a made-up lease violation that I had art in the art room Okay, so I had to go to court for that. And I have built a website in Holly Sprague's name, the person who okayed that violation, that made up violation. I put that in her name, and then I had to go to court and could not find representation because my work online is too personal. So I don't get public defense. I have to be my own. And what that afforded me, it was to go to court spontaneously, impromptu, at court, find out I don't have representation, so I have to start representing myself, which is not the first time. Okay, so also my food stamps, the same company, Pine Tree Legal, that handles food stamps here, took my food stamps. Okay? Governor LePage, I'd like you to do some real work before you start shaming people that don't have jobs when you're just a shirk and jerk on your net worth as your head. Okay? What else? If you want to be equitable, take the jobs from everyone at Pine Tree Legal. They are not doing an honest service for anyone. And take the jobs from everyone at the court and the police station also, because they're just practicing to add the toad admired reef and ref reflection as le-x-, okay, of compartmentalized dysfunction, hie-ven-d. Oh, good job. You didn't provide one single job. J-O-B. You. Among you, okay? Among you, June and glued. What else? And I should be polite to you for that. Never thought of 2 by 2 now, did you? Not for the want of it, either. Just want to screw. Oh, my partner didn't screw, so I'm going to screw you. Because you don't think I'm capable. No, I really don't. And I have all the proof I need. Submit your fucking problem with your name alone, and we'll see who wants to stand with you for being stupid. Okay? I just got through, okay? I've got proof. I already knew that. I just needed proof. I've got proof now. You can see for yourself if you want to. And we can see if you want to or do not want to. What else? I got off track there a little bit, didn't I? So when Avesta took me to court, because Holly Sprague okayed it that I was going to be evicted for having art in the art room, when there's no law for that. There's no law for living here. It was made up. It was made up because I did Avesta's work with Michelle Michaud, who many people know around here, and so does the police department, who calls the police on people all the time. She's a muckraker, okay? She gets traction by making shit up on you. And then feigning, but I am so polite. And you're like fucking steaming. And if you're me, you're swearing because you're honest. And she's swearing. I'm like, you know what? You've met where your buck stops. You've met where your malfeasant buck stops, right here. And if it takes me time to get it there, as well, it's not a fucking problem, because I know the bottom line. This is what I live for, okay? To define my time. Even time in thine. Okay, so now you respect the gesture as the guest. You tour. For speaking fine and find. So I did their work, and I subpoenaed anyone that complained about Michelle Michaud previously. And it was like pulling teeth, getting it from them, as well as as the day Michelle called the police on me, she also she made a ruckus that I left a note on her table in the art room. I left a note that said, there's another Michelle here. We moved her table a few inches, okay? And I signed it so she would know. We did this. I did this with Michelle, and I left the note. Why? Because the last time someone touched her table, she threw a fit, and with the brakes on the table, she kicked it, or she caused it, she grazed it across the tile, okay? She pitched a fit, and she's ruining shit. She's ruining the floor. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be responsible for doing this. We need to move this to get Michelle's easel in there. She's a new tenant and she wants to paint. And so what Michelle did, she used to live on the same floor here. I was up early in the morning. I was a flagger. You know what that is? I look at traffic, and this is what I do. Stop, don't stop. You have to have a good sense of imagination to get through that day. Anyway, that's the job I was doing so I could find a little bit of freedom for myself. And I was up early in the morning, and I would say the doors here are the weak link. I can walk down the hallway. I can hear someone blowing their nose in their apartment. I dare say I could hear them picking their nose. On my door, I put soundproofing and a birch overlay. So I have sealed noise from coming in, and I assume I've sealed it from going out. And then I put a little foam border because I could see a shaft of light coming in from the hallway. So I've also sealed airflow and, you know, just made it a tight aperture. Made the door fit, as it were. And early in the morning, so about 6 o'clock, she yells. She threw a fit on purpose for everyone on this floor to hear. She said, I was vile. It wasn't saying, she was yelling. She was yelling and screaming, I was vile, and never addressing for what? I put a conscientious note on your desk. Now, she then, I had to go to work. She's done this with other people, and they moved. And that's why I subpoenaed previous complaints against her. Because Avesta didn't do anything. And as previous complaints also complained to them, they're enabling this person. And they're like, oh, well, you know, we don't discriminate. You're enabling this person, and if your character was mine, this person couldn't keep creating traction, okay? So I did their work for them, then they took me to court. And just like with Officer Cardella, it's still my motivation. If it wasn't already stolen and I was trying to resurrect it with Patrick Shane at Brigham Young University, who didn't send in my Olympic qualifying time. So I ran a 4:18 point, I think it was 0.1 or 0.2 for 1,500 meters. That is about a 4:28 mile. I ran that in college. I went to Europe, and while I was there, as an Olympic year, they dropped the Olympic standard qualification times to 0.1 of a second. I qualified then to go to the trials, contacted my coach from BYU that I just graduated from, but had that time when I was his athlete. He didn't send it in. Okay, so I get back from Europe and I can't go to the Olympic trials. Not only can I not go, when I was in Europe with a team from California, and I don't know if it was LA or not. I went with a team from California to basically compete in Europe. And Europe has 2 sessions, and you actually make money as a track athlete. I made $500 a 60-second lap as a rabbit. And a rabbit is either known or unknown. You're a pace setter. You're known or you're unknown. If you're known, someone is selecting you to set the pace so they can draft you, okay? They don't have to think, they just have to follow you. If you're unknown, it's to make an exciting race. So no one sits back and then kicks, okay? They have to chase the rabbit. Sometimes rabbits go on to win the race. I fulfilled, they wanted a 60-second lap, and I did exactly 60. I have to say, it's burden. It's a heavy burden, and maybe it would get easier the more I did it, but I feel the burden of leadership. You're paying me $500 for a 60-second lap. You want a 60-second lap. I have to feel a 60-second lap with, you know, responsibility. Not for me, not just for me, not just for the person paying me, not for the spectators, not for the other athletes, the whole shittery, okay? I did 60, and I'm like, race is yours. I'm like, I feel that. Again, like I said, if I did it more often, maybe I'd continue. I never received the 500. I found out it was 500. My other teammates, most of them black. I was the only white girl there. Most of them black, and I would say probably more street worthy, in their senses, would, like, I got the envelope from the race director. They're like, open it. And I'm like, oh no, because Coach so-and-so said not to. And they're like, you should see how much it is. And I'm like, oh no. I can't remember if I opened it or they did, but I found out it was $500. And I'm like, wow, I'm doing a lot of rabbiting, and I'm doing a lot of racing. And in fact, you're racing me so much, and all these other athletes in an Olympic year, you know, Coach is making a lot of fucking money that with his wife at home, and he has a secretary he shares a room with, and I don't see any paperwork she's doing. And in fact, she's not even here as an alternative athletic trainer, because I was able to see a need. I went and bought a Swedish massage because no one was getting massages, and I started, I don't know, was I charging $4 a massage and had to raise my rates because of the supply and demand. I bought a Swedish massage, saw how they did it, and started a little micro business there. Modest. I wasn't there to kike my teammates, but little Miss Secretary wasn't doing a whole lot except for, yeah, I can do that. Behind closed doors with the coach, okay? While I was the fucking rabbit to support this. Okay. I can file it. I'm sure you can, okay? The coach didn't want the athletes speaking with any other coach, and I was in an elevator with Santa Cruz. There was maybe it was LA Track Club. Carl Lewis, when he ran, his coach. So I was in the elevator with his coach, and I was talking with him, because I talk with everyone. I really don't see a need to put a bullshit harness on that, okay? And the coach of our team that was basically using me as a prop to steal money for his secretary to file it while his wife was at home with the kids. Uh, he gave everyone a bonus except for me. And his little speech before that was targeted at me in terms of team loyalty. And so are you getting the setup here? I can run in Europe. I can make coach and his secretary a lot of money to file, out there asked again. And I'm never being paid just dues because of made up bullshit. Well, you talk to that coach, and so you're not loyal, okay? Or you have art in the art room, you're not loyal. Or my coach at Brigham Young University, he said to me that I reminded him of his wife. Well, he's Mormon, and Patrick Shane got married and divorced several times so that he can get in the sack again with his wife. So what he's saying to me, what? You can't file it right the first time or the second time or the third time? Anyway, so Patrick Shane, I'm not at BYU anymore. I had just graduated. Bullshit coach runs me and every athlete going into Olympic year several times a day, several times a week. We're racing. And we're not racing. We're sleeping on a bus or a ferry or a train, okay? They're not really welcoming accommodations. Try sleeping on a train seat, okay? Then you go to the track early, and then you sleep on the wooden benches. Then you run your ass around, and you might do it again and again, okay? Then you get on some sort of transportation vehicle, and you go run your ass around. He makes money, and you get ground down. Oh, and then he has the nerve to say, you're not loyal. You never brought loyal, okay? Fuck, seriously, file it, okay? So, coach from Europe goes to Olympic trials, didn't pay me a bonus, made a point in front of everybody, targeting me as not being loyal, because I talked! We weren't talking secrets. Can you give me a trade secret how to run faster? No. You know what? Telling you how to do it, what the fuck? I mean, unless it's like Lance Armstrong, well, you take this drug and then you go to this doctor who's going to hide it, okay? And then you have a whole network of people fucking in your ear that you can control the one-way conversation either way. Okay, to get the result you're seeking, okay? Big difference. Big difference. Sideways on that, my teammate was Inga Thompson, did the Tour de France when they had a female Tour de France, okay? So, big difference. Anyway, so Coach Fudge from California goes to Olympic trials and informs me Coach Patrick Shane from BYU didn't send in my qualifying time. Okay? I haven't forgotten that either. I haven't forgotten his little misfit-isms, curious ticks. We would train, as a cross-country team, we would get in a van and we would go to Sundance, one place we would go. Beautiful place in fall. Utah has all 4 seasons, and the snow is powdery, and the leaves in fall. You've got all 4 seasons, all 4 quarters, and the leaves are beautiful, changing. And so we go into the mountains to do hill repeats, and I remember, well, we also got into the van to go to Salt Lake City to get on a plane, usually to go compete. And we were in the van that day, and the van had the front seating, second, I think it had three 3 bench seatings. I was in the back, way farthest back. Patrick Shane was in the front, driving. I was talking with Nolene. Can I remember her last name? I really ought to. Nolene is from Ireland. So I had Ireland, so Nolene, Aisling, and Avril from North and South Ireland. And why is that important? Because sometimes what I hear is that the two are at odds. Anyway, all of Ireland, all sides of Ireland were represented in the same house, and they got along. And then there was Angela Bridgman from England. She was a black girl, Angela. So people would call our house that I arranged that we can all live in close to the athletic side of the campus and say, is Angela there? And we're like, which one? The one that runs track. Well, which one? The one with long legs. Well, which one? The one with natural curly hair. Which one? Angela spoke the posh language. Okay. Let's see. Anyway, for all I've done for pulling my weight, you, who set up Frame and Doft, has gesticulated on me to get back in line. You know how I feel about that now, don't you, with enough experience? To know exactly what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And no, I don't need your fag and flag gun, okay? To make my way even. It's been difficult. When I talk about depression, it's more like this for me because I'm not good at being unhappy. It's more like sometimes having to pull teeth to make me believe again, to believe in a way. Teaching myself how to do website software, knowing like, oh God, nobody's gonna come. Nobody's gonna see your value of a ribbon that you designed that has X and O's and a reuse and recycle mark. They're gonna think you're fucking quaint and treat you that way. No money for you because you're quaint and not necessary. I've got manly business to do at court, endowing with war, with a consort to board, and making me one eye so I can get on a jet and write it off for business to support my actress wife. Feeds, slice and diced. She's nice. Why? Because you don't actually have to earn your money, okay? You know who I'm talking about. Looks like a munchkin to you? Looks like a munchkin to me. Alrighty. Ugh. What else? Look how sophisticated I am in my designer wares I put on Instagram for you all to see. And wipe my ass, -t. Right? Is that what she's doing? Look at me, wipe my ass. Haha. I asked more than you. What the fuck? Put that in your pie hole. I got a slice for you to put in your pie hole. Trying to think what else I need to do here for a wrap. So 2D performance art, working including the two-dimensional the 2D black and white catalog. Yeah, did I write in that? I've done two of them actually. So I went to Duluth. I went to Duluth, Minnesota, and then took a bus. So the plane went into Duluth. I accidentally got on a bus full of hockey players. So I was hanging out on the bus with hockey players because I was told, now you need to get on the bus to go to Grand Marais. So I got on a bus. I got on the bus, it was there. And I'm smiling because everyone was basically in my age group and they're all males. I was on the bus with hockey players and I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. I like this bus. But right at the last moment, I was informed I was not on the right bus. So then I got on the bus and I went to Grand Marais, and that's near the Canadian border. And I worked at a cross-country ski resort. I cleaned your toilets. People go there for a good time. I have to let you know, they feel they're paying good enough money for everyone in the family to piss and miss the toilet. I have to let you know that. You with money, piss and miss the toilet fucking every time. Did a lot of cleaning up for you, okay? My talent goes unnoticed because you're passing daft. I go to work at the least among you, clean your fucking toilets, you, money on vacation, find you can't fucking hit the toilet for all your fucking worth, okay? Jesus fucking Christ sake. Snake and sake. Fuck. It caused, that didn't cause, the owners of that fairyland will take your money for nothing. You know, very image driven. We hit a snag. I didn't believe what was being told to me, and I said so. So I've done 2 performance art catalogs, and I'll have to make sure I got the other one too, because what she did, the owner of that cross-country ski resort, she went and got a social worker to come and find out what my fucking problem is. So she went to find someone professional to basically gang up on me. Not a problem. I'll lay it out for you and everyone around you. So I went and did some delivery too there, okay? It's like, you're not taking me down in your fucking square. You're taking me down in my square. To be fair, for fucking ea.ven-d, okay? This is what you're missing, Missy. Missing Miss Sty, okay? And no, you're not going to bully me by bringing someone else for your referencing and sting, okay? Operation. I really don't like thinking back on putting myself in that vulnerable position with bullshitters, okay? Who have the authority of money and resources like cops and professional ding-dongs, okay? I don't like that. I've had enough experience to know what my penalty is going to be if I talk to fucking authority with my own authority. Clunk, okay? Or Paul Drinan, oh, I'm not giving you my fucking money. I did your work to make you look good, and now you make me go without. And you call police so that I have no one to talk to. You here in Portland, Maine, you should not be putting him on the stage, okay? Because that's profane. That is a profan that is profane. You should stop hiring him for your your mitering of taking shortcuts also, because that is what he is in business for. Okay, so when you look at me and you watch me operate on my bottom line, okay, with Michelle, the muckraker that has to basically make malfeasant shit up, then to tread on it by calling a second or third person, i.e. the cops, all the ding dong time, okay? So she makes malfeasant shit up, then places a call. You're harassing me. I'm like, you know what? I'm taking this back to the cops. You're going to see me in person, and we're going to talk about this. They're the ones that told me to go for the harassment order, so I did. So then Avesta took me to court for art in the art room, for which I built the Holly Sprague website, for which I had to take time out again. So I took several months out, mulling over the feelings of inertness, okay, with the police officer that took me to jail for rollerblading without a rear view mirror, and I have a criminal record for wearing spandex. And that upset my delicate equilibrium of providing for myself, to both go to graphic art school in Truckee, riding my bike, to then rollerblade to Sparks, Nevada from Reno, okay, and make this my modem of training as well, okay? You upset that. They upset that. And anyone that supports them is still upsetting that, okay? You're letting dickless, egregious, ball-bearing eunuch nest all over the place. Stall and stalk. Talk? You're stalking, okay? All over the place. And I get to look like I can't do better than working in a lice clinic. When it all comes down to, I get to look at you that don't know better and try and think fondly of you. You know? Anyway, so I took it, the first time it hit me hard. I had to take several months out, not only trying to figure out how to go ahead, because you had enclosed me in a container of lying stupid to gain your preferential treatment. For instance, when I went to court with Larry Sage, there was a woman in there that was, she a DA? She wasn't a DA, she was standing with the DA, and they were both telling me that I had to plead guilty. And I'm like, no, your police officer didn't show up, so fuck yourself. Of course, I didn't say fuck yourself, because I didn't start swearing. I started swearing at about age 21 with Steve, what's his name, at Brigham Young University when I worked at the Great Harvest Bread Bakery, because he was stalking me because he said that I didn't add up my hours that week correctly, and no big deal. If they're not correct, make it whatever you think it is. And then he's like, we'll use a calculator next time. I'm like, I did use a calculator. He's not satisfied with that. I already clocked out to leave, so I left, and he follows me out to the little Volkswagen I'm in, and politely, I do have to keep a little pedal on that because Volkswagens sometimes have to be tinkered, you know, keep enough gas, keep it revved so the engine keeps going. And so I rolled down my window, and he wanted to kind of lay some more shit on me that I wasn't responsible. And I just revved the thing and gave that whole string of shops, the big finger and shithead. Okay, that's basically when I started swearing with panache, a trucker with panache, and I haven't looked back, okay? But I also know where and when to use it, meaning that if you can't simplify yourself in elegance, okay, sophistication of necessity, of what is necessary, just swearing just because you can, it does not render the same effect, okay? If you're stupid and swearing, it's not the same as having just cause, because you are the fact to tact, okay? To be back in black. Again, I got off track. It took me a lot of time, several months, to sit in that. Not only just to mull it over, but it was my first exercise in understanding the energy it takes to move a feeling into your head of understanding and then expression. Okay? I know the value of that work, and it does take a consolidation of energy, which I don't think everyone's up to the task. Okay? And that's not meant to be a quantifier or qualifier of judging good character, but it's perhaps a qualifier of seeking who would be most arduously present to present tit, okay? that is a value. And I understand the dynamic and process of the value and the desire like the back of my hand, okay? Back of my hand is present on comma and the. No date, N-O. What else? First time, that took me a lot of time. And you're also having to answer the question for the first time. I feel this compulsion, I feel this need to do this. I understand it's justice, okay? I didn't have the words for it. The words have come later. I know what I'm doing now, and I know why I'm doing it. And I've answered the question before. Let's see, second time. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I go to the middle of nowhere and I'm still harassed for being myself. So I exited on my terms. Which really wasn't the end. I kept getting drop kicked everywhere I went, okay? Well, maybe one day you'll know better too. Like I said, I'm self-taught in a lot of things, including on how to be 5% body fat, hydrostatically weighed when I was in college, and they said you shouldn't be alive, and I'm like, I didn't set it up that way. I trusted myself, and I trusted myself to engineer a diet, okay, to have a strong engine, light chassis. That was part of the problem with Patrick Shane. He didn't like that I was moonlighting. Uh, it wasn't that I was 5% body fat, because he would take that as his value. What he couldn't take as his value was the workouts I was doing outside of his. And that's one thing he didn't like. Patrick Shane had issues with other women, okay? So I didn't finish that story. In the van, he was in the front, I was in the very back. When I'm talking about his tics, his mannerisms. Besides hearing that, I think it was Alicia, I think that's her name, he really rubbed her the wrong way. He said something to her which was very off-putting and put her down precisely as a female. And I remember her bitching and complaining a lot about Patrick Shane. Patrick Shane also notoriously only brings people onto his team, females that are attractive. Okay, at the time when I was an athlete, it was something that I would hear from other teams, other people, other athletes that that the BYU women were attractive. What else? The van. Okay, so we're in the van, we're going somewhere. It was probably cross country because those are the teammates I can remember. And we usually traveled in a van because it's a 7-member scoring team. There may have been more that went, but only you needed 5. They score 7 to make the team. And so either we were going to Salt Lake to get on a plane, or we were going for a workout in the mountain. And I remember I was in the back and I was talking to Nolene from Ireland, and music was on, the girls were chattering, it was noisy enough, and Patrick Shane is commenting to my comment to Nolene in the back, and I'm not being loud, she's next to me, and he's saying, no it isn't, and I'm kind of like, I didn't realize he was talking to me except that he kept repeating himself, and then I'm kind of like, what the fuck are you talking about? Of course, I didn't say fuck at the time, not even to myself. I say that now. I had learned about the word nihilism. Nihilism would be, let's see if I can explain it in just understanding. That you don't care. There's not a reason to care. That something's nihilistic. So I had discovered that definition today. Yes, I was that kid that read the dictionary. I remember in, I think it was junior high, was it Andy something. He had red hair, he was very, very boisterous, and kind of made fun of me that so there's some character on TV that read the dictionary, and he made fun of me in class like I was that person. I was like, didn't say it, but I'm like, yeah, I do read the dictionary. You're just a loud, funny jerk. You know, I can already tell what your trajectory is. You're gonna get some woman laid and then whatever, okay? What merit? You never needed it, okay? Why? Because you never wanted it. And in feeling tone, I already knew that in junior high. So I discovered the word nihilism, and I'm talking to Nolene about it. I use the word, and Patrick Shane is piping back, that's not a word. That's not a word. And I'm, you know, having to kind of hear him say something over the rows of other women talking to themselves and the music. And is he speaking to me? So I continued to Nolene, and he's like, it's not a word. And I'm kind of like, are you talking to me? Because it is a word. You know? So those were some of the, you know, that, and telling me that he reminded me of his wife, that he married and divorced several times so he could get back in the sack to fucking file it, but not really. Okay. I think he has issues with women. real women, or issues at the very least of not wanting or allowing real women. So when you check your reference that you think Patrick Shane did well by you, I want to ask you what well you brought too. A Minnow moment, a sponsor. We're sponsored by Minnow and my floral tights. Minnow. It's a Minnow moment. Would you like some petting for your Minnow moment, Minnow? So, Minnow has a curious name. It's not just that it's Minnow, and I use him as my totem for innocence. Good stewardship is innocence and reflection, and to think to provide that. But what I realize is when I tell Minnow no, I'm using his name. So it's basically to say Minnow no is Minnow yes. Yes, I'm Minnow. No, 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 no. So I realized that later after I started calling him that, and then I wanted to train him, Minnow, no, don't do that. Anyway, that was your Minnow. Minnow no moment. NOM number. Let's see. Regrets. I cried a lot. I cried for several years, actually, when I was training for the Olympics, because I knew that was my last window, and I was going to do it on my own because the last Olympics was the California coach and Patrick Shane, and you know they didn't really provide good backing to go for reward, even thinking about them as providing my value. Asked to be forward. So I was set up to do it on my own, and I had an athletic window, and it was sunk by Officer Stinking Cardella and his backup. So I got called backup on rollerblades, and then they wheeled me into the back of their police car on 4 lanes of traffic, and they acted like frat boys. Like, look at us, we got a girl. And I'm like, that's the only fucking way you're ever going to get a girl. Okay? They were looking for a reaction from me, and I was just giving nothing, but I was reading everything peripherally. And I'm like, it's the only fucking way you're going to get a fucking girl. Okay? Frat boy. Look at us, we caught a girl. We made shit up, and we caught a girl. And now we're going to parade her as if I'm on wheels in handcuffs and I need fucking assistance with one chimp with another, okay? Just give me a fucking push into the lane of traffic, okay? For all your head is worth. Oh, sorry, we fucked up. Really? Was that predictable? Why don't you ask for my review in advance and pay for it in fact to last? And wear my value on your back to advance your hat. Well, we were just squaring with headquarters. I bet you were. As with hie-ven-d. Here he is red. We have to be police officers to protect the virtue we care for in our head. So we can weed contractually again. You understand the contract of weed, and wed is made dupe and up, okay? No lawyer would take my case. It was a waste of my delicate time and framing for my desire, which would go to a possible global platform where I would feel forsaken because no one I knew gave an honest fuck believing in them. Okay? I did cry for several years. That was because that was the end of my window. And there was no one to make it better. So now I just train for lifestyle training. I do it for my own purposes. To make me feel good, because that's my solitary value. It's also my solitary philosophy. You can't give anything other than what you are. The GAM game has already spoken for values so that it can't represent. So what you need to understand with my dynamic, you think I'm not bringing loveliness? Well, I have to first mark to re-represent it, okay? So that I can show you versus you never intended it, okay? And it is the value I have, and you don't get unless you are. So I since there already is this back and forth to fundamentality with the same consort and tort to bort in the red, and over time you make it back in black again. I have to be both heads, okay, at the same time, and be the character witness to lend yet again, okay, as Jesus, or Jesus carrying do with you, speaking for the night in absentia 2x2. And again, it's not something that you can mark on because it's not your value to begin. Having already spoken for, I'm here and capable. Not exactly. Not text, not sex, not hex, not exactly. To the misspent, misspent. My nose, my ent, ears, nose, eyes, throat, okay? In the N, E-N, the space you occupy in print. So one of the things that happened here is, I know there was this sort of, when things started to settle, Michelle moved, Charlotte Simpson does not work, who backed Michelle enrolled at court, who told me to go get, to do a harassment order, then went to court and rolled her professional opinion that I was in need of eviction. So Charlotte Simpson never did real work, or was a real character witness to lend value, but she backed Michelle and made me do her work to go to court so that Avesta would take me to court for doing the work they didn't do. Apparently, I must have made them look bad. 2x2. It's not my problem. You seem to be situating yourself to ask for it now, isn't it? But you knew that David Chamberlain, your lawyer, was also the eviction lawyer for this whole town. So I got to go and spend a lot of my time in fucking winter, and you were trying to evict me in winter as well, okay? A lot of brutalness going on here, okay, with a veneer of a nonprofit organization that builds these places for investors to put their tax money in, including a women's women that need help so women that that need some sort of housing protection, they build those type of buildings too. Do you understand they're putting me in that situation? Okay, so I'm saying you're malfeasant. And then you take Pine Tree Legal with Pine Tree handling food stamps, and they take one won't represent me, and then don't give me food stamps because of the work I'm doing online that they're not. Okay? And so when the dust settled, and I didn't get evicted, and I kept my website up, and how did I keep it up? Well, I had to go back to court. I think it was several times, and then the judge couldn't make a decision, so he's like, well, you have to put it in writing. And so it's all on the Holly Sprague website. But in court, one of the things I did is like my website, Holly Sprague website, my website is a metaphor for Hall lies Prague, how a state of being is made. So, and I remember, and I was at Sharon Vale, so she's no longer working at Avesta either. She's one of the higher up associates, not working there anymore either. I think she figured out that people working for her don't really care a whole lot for her. They don't care for me, they don't care for her, okay? I think she got that message. She doesn't work there anymore. Let's see. Well, I remember she was a little bit like, a little upset that her lawyer could not go one-to-one with me and make me take that website down, because what her lawyer provided, people from Avesta I never met to be my character witness, okay? So they brought in a slew of people I've never met, okay, to provide character witness against me, okay? And so I had the website up, Holly Sprague. So on one side is the contact content as it's happening. You sent me this letter from your lawyer, putting it up there, and I'm contacting all these people in the community, including radios and newspapers, okay? And anything you do, it's going up. And we're making this we're taking the forum outside. And then next to it, I'm starting the language. I'm starting it. I'm jumping in. I'm jumping into my own mark and my own voice for a reason as desire even, including p-ven, okay? I'm angry for the same reason and desire. You're thief-end, and that's all you stand for. And so when I got to impromptuly cross-examine those people that I never met from Avesta, that the lawyer in Avesta brought to kind of like gang on me to be against my character, I asked them, well, when you looked at the website, what did you see? They're very vague. The answer was always very vague. And I'm like, well, did you see the column? No, we don't know what I mean. No, didn't see it. Totally smiling. Didn't see it. All right? I remember the jolly fat woman's face, okay? Fuck. I still want to fucking slap you, okay? I don't see it. Yeah. Okay, so when I walk into your lobby and it says we don't discriminate, well, you certainly don't discriminate by not representing anyone, okay? Just going to understand that. So when the dust settled, no one was using the art room, and they had to reach for people outside to use the art gallery. I can tell you from my point of reference, I used to use the art room, but it broke my motivation and desire to look at that as something worth looking at, okay? Or even acknowledging its existence. So that's what that did for me, all in the guise of, this is a place for artists. It's really a tax shelter for your fucking wealthy to pass a doft, to get it back a doft and say, like Governor LePage, well, goddamn them, why don't they seek a better job? Thief-end. I'm the salt and shall halt. Ta, thanks, and tear, already read, right here, acting as if you're my square, T-O-M-E, T-O-M-B-E-A-D? I don't think so. Okay, you can bring your where anytime you want to. Or I will continue to show you how to. And your penalty is you get less. You get less of what you thought you were. Okay? And everyone gets to see it as swelled. If you understand you started with an illusion of value as the first estate, you can understand that reflection can only ask an illusion of value for the second estate. And how would you make the sine and cosine? So you've got the right angles and the hypotenuse equal to the diagonal, to the slide where your eye goes to, okay? To deliver yet again, eating the time that you come from, that you believe in, to be providing the time. You would make up a third person equal to your preferential skills and prowess. And all we have is one thief talking to another with preferential skills that your God is as stupid to get toffed as you are. Okay? To pass a doft on someone else. Hey, stupid, go to war for the Savior. And because we believe in this, and when you get back, you realize we don't really have faith in you. So go fuck yourself. Do what you want to with a gun because you get paid to do that. And a religion's going to support you in that and tell you that you're in the lineage of the God. So you can grow on the same trajectory of B-E-A-D or B-E-A-D. We that are rich with hexpression and texpression and sexpression, we will get our lot. L-O-T or L-A-W parentheses E-T. Your lot that is wet with two thieves that are not the honest character reference to believe by being and providing and seeking. Okay? And bringing. Oh, let's not forget teaching by hexample. Text, sex, and hexample. Your value, put it on the line at the same time. And see what kind of food you want to eat from my behind, okay? Because you're in your art, and arc hyphenated is in arrears. Correct me if I'm wrong. It seems to me that one of the values of this ST parentheses E ALL parentheses HD, the steel install with providing the LD low road with the high definition head and hand hie-ven-d, we're providing the ends, okay? Providing the ends to begin diet, I eat again, to be in black. So I'm not sure if you believe that. I mean, I'm trying to look at it in terms of what's the value. You're trying to swindle, okay? That's what I'm getting. So I'm giving you too much of my value, and that's fine. I tend to do that. I give the benefit of the doubt, and it really shouldn't. At some point, you think I'd run out, right? I tend to give the benefit of the doubt, but now the experience is really weighing on predictability, hyphenated. Edict or addict. Okay. Addict hyphen K hyphen T. We have a rule for that, yes, but you're not teaching with your edict. H hyphen HE hyphen parentheses A hyphen D hyphen dick hyphen T. Edict or addict. You're not actually teaching by being. Now, are you? You're relying on the ag with the gun as great. We re-eat at the rate of G hyphen RE hyphen AT hyphen E at the gun. Okay? You're standing on doth stupid for your income. You have no more faith in your fucking Jesus Christ or his face than your fucking mate, who is also standing on doft to get your lot to toss and sought. Toss the same shit around in the same container. What's red can be reasoned with sophistry back into black because you're not actually exchanging one-on-one, hie-ven-d, through the Tao, okay? To get some met, how? Some met THD, toe, how, and Tao, even endow now, with EID, the oath and the feast of your own feet you rest your ass on, okay? I do see that as a trajectory, though. You can piss and moan and complain all you want. You can go on TV and Al Franken. I look at his first name, A-L. I see A-I, artificial intelligence. Okay, you can, with your own artifice, you can banter back and forth. Why did you push him out? Why are you keeping it in? Why are you fucking having this conversation? You're moving the same hyphenated shit around. Okay. And calling it proud. Prout and proud. Prout, prow, the front of the ship, okay? You're shipping hyphen T, part-time. I'm still hyphenated, okay? Meaning you are that's doing this, okay? To get your dim dime. That's an artifice also. The 0, 1 and 0 that doesn't know better because you're pretending better, that you don't want to know better, and that's very convenient to keep not knowing better and not being the character of value. You're not teaching better. Now, are you? To have a present prescient client, hie-ven-d through. I would say that I question, probably naturally question everything on a feeling tone. Like I feel a certain way and I question it, both for myself and both with experience. I trust that process because it's what allowed me to go from a 198th at in cross country at nationals of a 200 person qualifying 200 people qualify to go to nationals in cross country. I finished 198th a year before, and that interview with my last eligibility was for cross country. I was the 7th person on a five the top 5 score. So I wasn't even a scoring member. I finished second to last in cross country, and then a reporter asked me what I wanted to accomplish with my last season of eligibility, which was in cross country, and I said I was going to be All-American, which is top 25 in the nation, and I didn't know that I was going to say that. But it seems to me that I have good skills for teaching myself to hit the nail on the head. And it is a continual delicate process of paying attention. When I was 5% body fat, I had to pay attention to my hunger. And I also had to pay attention to getting past my own Grinch or gremlin or inner predator. And you can read about predators. I read about predator in Clarissa Pinkola Estes, Carl Jungian, the inner predator and the exterior predator. I'm sure many of us know people that are talented athletes, but they can't perform, okay, at the meet or at the race or the events. And part of that is getting rid of your own inner predator. It's why do I fuck myself up here? Ultimately, you have to get square with yourself and give yourself permission, okay, to be your desire. So I question. I learn to understand myself. When I'm eating just a handful of whatever, I'm like, I know what this means. You're doing something you don't want to do, Angela. So let's think it through. What is it you don't want to do? Oh, it's that. You're working for a bullshit boss that wants them to kiss their ass. How about we do something else, okay? So I can keep this intact. So I don't try and put a penalty somewhere else because I'm forced to carry it. So I know little things about me and the way that I tick. You know, when I'm eating without a desire, you know, I'm just stuffing myself. I'm like, you're doing something you don't want to do. And I would prefer you look at it now so that I don't have to back up and get in a running start to get fit again. Okay? You know? Or just stay in your weight that represents your frame. There's a joy in performance. And I don't mean I'm out there running, but there's a joy in fitting your frame to its function. The joy is you don't have to think about it. You can just be it. There's not a hitch in your get up. That's the value of going to the gym for me. At this point is I'm not like, I can't do that because I want to do that, but I can't because I have this. You know, it's back to I'm here. I want to do that. Okay. It would be interesting to see a football player throw a B all HD. I'm just saying, if I am permanently meant to be a spectator, it would be nice to see a football player throw a BALL HD. look, when we take the glossy veneer off, I would say any spectator we have in the Tao with war is made up. Okay? Sorry to inform you. And what do you do with your spectatorship in football? You bedazzle women to dress scantily, to kick their legs higher than your fucking head, and pay them less than a prostitute to be your cheerleader. Why? Apparently someone there thinks they can get away with it. Okay? Look, okay, so Inga Thompson did the Tour de France when they had a female Tour de France. Lance Armstrong gets a ganglion network of digital devices to communicate, coach athletic trainers, a female masseuse that spoke out against him, so he tarnished her reputation, all on his strong will and ilk to drug, okay? And to communicate with other people that drink and drug. Dink, drink, dink. Drink hyphenated T. And Doug, the hyphenated R. Okay? To get a result. Bearing what in mind? That he's not going to allow that freelancing female masseuse to have an ass parked? Hie-ven-d from the start. So, you know, start looking at y'all in those athletic places. You make a lot of money. You're facilitating it to go around. T-A-R-E-G hyphen. If you need another G, hyphen. R-O-U-N-D hyphen. When you think about people abusing, like there's always news, you know, this person today apparently beat a 3-year-old to death with a belt. Then there was the 8-month-old in India that was raped and is on life support because apparently when you're that little and you put a penis inside of you, it fucks up your internal organs. So that little baby may not live. But what do you think the 20-year-old cousin who did it, what do you think is seeping into him with all that's being written and saying passed around again, okay, with no one taking? Your buck stops here. Your malfeasant buck stops here, and I can prove it. I can prove the vet I am it. Okay? It seeps in. It seeps in clearly. You can do that as a man -D. Because the love you're expressing is a front for still passing daft to Tao with war on your own lack of faith. Okay? You're passing the gun as the conversation. And you're not really the love. And you didn't make love when you had children. So you feel bad, you fucked your baby, but you're setting up every woman for that, okay? That they're going to be fucked in gestation because they're in the date, okay? So it's an appalling mistake to call yourself brave with a gun where you set up the challenge in gestation. Okay? What do you think your whole third person is about reflecting a container that's an authority that you can't question? And I'm questioning it because it's stupid as you are. Okay? Bring the goods or shut up. You need to step off. Or I will make you. I will make you my mark. And show you have no heart to disembark. Barked in art, okay?